British rule of India, also called the British Raj, stretched over a period of almost 100 years, from 1858 to 1947. For most of the 19th century, India was ruled by the British.
Happening!
India was considered the jewel in the crown of the British Empire. Queen Victoria had been made Empress of India, and the British had a major military presence in India. Indian nationals had no say in central government, and even at a local level, their influence on policy and decision-making was minimal. The British Empire reached an extension comparable with only one other empire: Mongols. The Indian Empire included, apart from India, present-day Pakistan, Bangladesh, and Burma. The advertised purpose of the empire was to civilize the presumed savage population, as described in the short story Lisbeth. This has undoubtedly been a turning point in Western history, as the linguification of imperialism seemed positive when the purpose was to help further the uncivilized, something we today exceedingly frown upon. However, the biggest rationale was economical. The industrialization, which originated in Great Britain, was made possible through the exploitation of Indian produce, mainly cotton. To implement Christianity was another main goal, and several missionary schools opened up during this period. The British simply subsided a huge nation, and that was bound to cause trouble. In the extract from The White Tiger, we hear how all Indians are captured in the rooster coop, and unable to escape it, as they see themselves as inferior. This has shaped our world today greatly, as we, the West, permanently remain masters of the world.
There are many incidents that played a part in the eventual partition of India and their independence in 1947, but the main event that planted the seeds was Direct Action Day, also known as Great Calcutta Killings. It was a massive riot between Hindus and Muslims in Calcutta. This was planned by the Muslim League after their failed attempt of the creation of Pakistan. After the incidents in Calcutta, Hindu-Muslim riots broke out all around British India. The British Prime Minister Attlee declared in February of 1947 that the English would leave India by June 1948. This declaration created a fear within the Indian leaders. India was not divided that day, since a civil war broke out and the country was divided into various parts. So the members of the Congress accepted the petition proposal. Having to put the petition into action caused a massive massacre. Millions of people had to flee their homes unwillingly. Of course, this led to an extensive bloodbath, with estimated 1 million dead. Furthermore, the petition also led to the Indo-Pakistani War of 1947, that lasted over a year. In Rasipuram, Krishnawami, Narayan's fictional piece, Another Community, he is focused on the political topic of this war. He wrote as follows: "It was on the whole a peaceful, happy life till October of 1947, when he found out that the people around had begun to speak and act like savages. The main character lives a normal life, but things changes after October of 1947. The historical information of this event is not mentioned in the story, but is clearly a reference to the war that broke out after the British partition of India and Pakistan, which was mostly Muslim, and India, which was mostly Hindu. Although the narrator in the short story does not identify the religious, social, or political backgrounds of the people in the story, the mention of October 1947 clearly sets the tone.
For centuries, caste dictated almost every aspect of Hindu religious and social life, with each group occupying a specific place in the complex hierarchy. There are 5 different castes which you can more or less divide into an upper and a lower group, which always lived in segregated colonies. There are the Dalits, the outcasts, the Sudras, the Vaishyas, the Kshatriyas, and the Brahmins, which often works as priests and as teachers, and they are the highest caste. Before the independence of India, Brahmins would not accept food from the Sudras, and one could not marry only within one's caste. But after the independence and the introduction of Gandhi's democracy, the caste system became illegal to practice. Today the caste are still a great part of living in the countryside, even it's illegal. But in big cities, it's easier to be anonymous in proportion to your caste, and it's more accepted to marry and be friends with people from other castes. Partly because of the city's fast-growing civilization and the Western influence on the today's largest democracy in the world, which in the future have a tendency to be more modern in proportion to the problems of today's caste system. These problems of today's society are greatly showed in Aravind Adiga's series of letters called The White Tiger, where the narrator Balram, from a lower caste, writes to the Chinese primer Wen Jiabo over 7 nights about the life in India. The letters shows modern India with contrasts between India as a modern global economy and its working class people who live in poverty. The novel portrays India's society as very negative towards the lower social caste. Balram refers to the caste system as the darkness and compares it with a rooster coop. Also, when Balram was asked which caste he was from, he knew that it could cause a biased stance in his employer and determine the future of his employer.